Good evening, everyone. On behalf of International Homeopathic Foundation, I welcome you all. Those who are new to International Homeopathic Foundation's webinar, International Homeopathic Foundation (IHF) was founded in the year 2015, which aims to promote homeopathy through academics and integrated approach. Since inception, we have organized various free health camp seminars, homeopathic medical education series. The most talked about 3-day successful International Homeopathic Congress was organized at Taj Vivanta Dwarka in April 2016, where more than 250 doctors, researchers participated globally. We proposed a credit system for homeopathic doctors to Ayush department, and which is in progress. And just to let you know that we think and we hope that ये जल्दी ही हो जाएगा हम homeopathic doctors के लिए. Virtual International Homeopathic Summit and mega panel discussions were organized during COVID-19, which included eminent speakers, which were like homeopaths, allopaths, dietitians, yoga specialists, and people from CCRH also joined us. Dr. Muktinder Singh, Dr. Tarkeshwar Jain, Dr. Bajrang Bhosle, Dr. B.D. Patel sir, Dr. Ajit Kulkarni, Dr. Harsh Nigam sir, Dr. Anil Khurana, Dr. Harleen. The list is actually endless, and we also had those allopathic doctors who have got converted into homeopaths, and they are doing pretty well, like Dr. Jaswant Patil sir, Dr. Harsh Nigam sir, and we also had Dr. Arvind Kumar, Dr. Hemant Madan, dietitian Pallavi, Dr. K.S. Barar. IHF has also organized joint webinar with Lung Care Foundation to create awareness in society against increasing pollution and its harmful effects. So today's webinar is with Dr. Vrushali Saraswat on the topic Rare Remedy in Panic Disorders. Over to you, Dr. Bhavna. Kindly introduce our respected speaker of the day. Dr. Bhavna, can you unmute yourself? I have sent you the request, Dr. Bhavna.
Good evening, all. Welcome to Dr. Vrushali Saraswat. So today we have a very versatile speaker with us with a very unique topic. Dr. Vrushali Saraswat, she is founder of Happiness Holistic Clinic. She is an international speaker, teacher, and wellness consultant. She is member of Board of Editors at National Journal of Homeopathy, a very prestigious journal. She is gold medalist in PG Home, London from UK. She is a recipient of many awards on national and international platform, has presented papers on national and international homeopathic journals. She has conducted workshops on rational parenting and conducted e-learning programs in homeopathy. And she has initiated a unique program of Soul Spa, which is a rendezvous with self, a flagship program to enhance the happiness quotient. She has conducted more than international 35 webinars in last 2 years and a social COVID awareness campaign through webinars. I welcome Dr. Vrushali. Over to you. We are all keen to listen to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vrushali. I'll just stop my share now. Yes, Dr. Vrushali.
First and foremost, let me thank Dr. Amita for having such a wonderful initiative. So it gives me immense pleasure to be here today on IHF platform to share whatever I have learned. And I must also mention Dr. Wahi sir, your zeal for homeopathy has always been inspiring. I remember meeting him first time in Delhi in 2015, where Indo-Japan seminar was there. That time I had met you first, and since then I've been admiring. And the seminar which you mentioned, Dr. Amita, I was there in 2016, Taj Vivanta. It was really an amazing one, and I missed speaking it there. So let me begin my journey with IHF today. And And it's not that I'm going to be. Do we have access to chat here, Dr. Amita? Can I see that? I'll have to go off. Full screen nahi hoga. All right, all right. So, all right. So,
Dr. Vrushali, we have chat options, but I think it will not be visible while you are sharing it.
while I'm sharing, yes.
Yeah.
All right, not an issue. So, before I would stop share for a while so that I can look at the chat. Quickly in the chat box, if all of you can put in, what is it that you are expecting out of this session today? What comes to your mind when we give a topic, panic disorder and a rare remedy? What do you think are we going to be talking? Very quickly. Chat is towards the extreme right corner. Voice is very low, is it? Are you not able to hear me, Dr. Amita?
It's okay.
Yeah. So whomsoever
Dr.
is
Bhavna,
finding,
Dr. Vaisar, it's okay, na?
yeah. So
Yeah,
whomsoever
voice,
is finding the
Vrushali, your
voice
voice
to
is,
be low, I would
it's very
recommend
clear.
that you put headphones or something, some hearing device, so that your voice would be enhanced. All right. So Dr. Muhammad is saying needs to know nowadays everyone is in panic state. Any specific remedy for it in common? Okay. Panic disorder is very common these days. Absolutely. Especially after COVID. Yes, fantastic. Post-traumatic disorder management. Meena ji, we are talking about panic today. Post-traumatic disorder is a huge topic. And yes, panic would fall under post-traumatic broadly, but maybe not. Nobody's talking about remedies, or we should be focusing on panic. All right. So, interestingly, how to handle and win. Wow, wonderful. Winning is for sure when we practice homeopathy meticulously. When you take all the steps, winning is definite for you. Winning is the only option according to me. So when I was preparing for this topic, I just thought that, I want to give something which is all inclusive, holistic, wherein we understand the disorder in depth, we understand a unique remedy, and we understand psychodynamics. So let us see, without wasting much time, I would directly go into the case. So I'm going to be sharing two cases simultaneously. Okay, try and understand and feel free to stop me wherever you feel like. So Dr. Amita, if you can keep a watch at the chat and tell me whenever I have to stop. Okay. So this was a 52-year-old very fat lady. Okay, she was a rich Marwadi lady, very fat, and this picture is absolutely symbolizing her because she would just sit on her couch and order around. She would just throw her weight literally all over the house, and everybody would dance to her tunes. She would give them orders ki today I want to eat so and then everybody, like her daughter, her servants, her son, her husband, everybody would be just focused on fulfilling that particular desire of hers. So that kind of an aura she had, and she suddenly came with a severe breakdown. Like I knew her socially as well, but she was not my patient for 2-3 years, and I knew her to be a very bossy person, somebody who can just snap her fingers and make people work. So she came down. She comes from a very huge joint family. The story was, and somebody had mentioned about post-COVID. So this is during 2020. during the COVID times when people were completely separated from their families. They could not meet friends, they could not go out. So this lady who comes from a huge joint family, she was not invited for an intimate wedding in the family. And she was not invited because the family, just the boy, the groom's family and the bride's family, only those 4 or 5 people or 8 or 9 people had come in one house, and the wedding was done because they didn't want to prolong it and COVID was not getting over. But she felt so trifled, and she felt as if my family is disintegrating, they are disowning me. I now do not know with whom I should connect, and she felt completely isolated, that the whole world is there surrounding her and she is just getting locked inside her house. She cannot mingle with other people, and not other people are also not ready to come. She would call people, but nobody was coming to house. It was that time when people were just fearing meeting each other. So, coming from a very big joint family, and then every event, like a small thing used to be a big celebration because everybody would meet. She felt that now all these people have just given me up. Now I cannot mingle with them. And she felt very, very lonely. She felt as if now my world is collapsing. She came down with acute attacks of asthma. She already was an asthmatic, but now her asthma had increased. Now she felt that the family may never accept me and they are going to leave me alone. She always wants everybody to listen to her. And invariably she would say, I don't care much about people. But inside what was happening, she was not aware of it. And when this particular wedding happened in somewhere around June 2020 or July 2020, she felt that now my world is collapsing, and there started panic attacks. She was feeling as if her throat is completely getting choked. It would initially it would start with an attack of asthma, and she would feel claustrophobic. She would feel she's getting closed, and she would want the AC on, and along with that she would want all the doors and windows also open. So it was not serving the purpose. The family was losing its mind over her obsession of want of air. She would want to move, but she would not want to get up from the place. So it was a very mixed state, and the whole night her husband used to get mad, thinking what way he could help her. There was just no way he could help her. That was case number 1. Now we are going to case number 2. This is a lady who had come to me when she was 48 years old. And she had come to me with sudden appearance of panic attacks. Suddenly, she also was feeling out of breath. She would feel claustrophobic, and she would feel as if, you know, the whole room is kind of eating her away, and she must keep the door ajar, and at least the door has to be open. If the windows are not open, it's all right, but door has to be open. She must find an exit outside. She has to see the outside hall or outside room. But the door, anywhere she went, she had to keep the door open, to the extent that when she would go to the office, she would take one more colleague along with her, and she would leave the toilet door open, and she would ask the colleague to wait outside. That was the kind of intensity of her panic attacks. So when I started asking her, I'll tell you when exactly the panic started. But the whole story of this lady was that she belonged to again, huge Marwadi family, wherein there was mother, father, and 4, 5 siblings. She was one of the girls, so she has some 2 sisters, 2 brothers, something like that. And one fine day, when mother had gone to visit her parents, she thought that it is better if I leave one of my child behind with my mom. I will be able to work better. So her mother used to have anxiety problems, so probably anxiety neurosis. But um, rather than taking treatment, what she did is she left this child behind. And this suddenly there was this child was asking for help that she didn't know. Her both parents simply left her with the nanny, and they left. They just simply went on with their work. She was just 6 years old at that point of time. Whole childhood went into loneliness. She felt so lonely, even though Nani, Nanu, everybody, Mamu, everybody used to be so loving to her. They were showering her with so much love, but she did not like that. She said, how did my mom leave me and go? I must have done something wrong. That was the thought which got engraved into her. And therefore, this 6-year-old child started doing each and everything on time. Even before time, she became very good in studies. She became overachiever. Anybody asked for even a single thing, she would be the first one to run and give it. She started performing too much beyond her capacity. In all of that, what happened is she used to be yearning for love. She would never understand. So when normal kids would go in vacation to Nani house, so she would go to her parents' house for vacation. And even there, the parents would not, like, mother would want to come back to her mother's place. So she would go for 10 days and then mother would only come back here. And so this girl never got to stay in her own house. Where she lived with her Nani, she felt as if she's a stranger. There is nobody who is, close enough for her. And therefore, the whole concept of family, concept of belonging was missing inside her. And what she yearned only for was for love. She couldn't get it from her parents. As a result of this whole thing, she became utterly responsible, very, very responsible, sincere person. She became a workaholic. She wanted work all the time, and she became a perfectionist. She wanted to do everything correct. There was so much yearning for love. She was people pleaser. She wanted to give very good experiences to everybody. She just wanted to go with the flow. Whatever you tell her, she would say, yes, I will do this. So, this martyr syndrome came into her, that she must perform, then only people will like her. And the whole idea, everything she would pick up on her own. When she went to college, what happened is she fell in love with a Muslim boy. And now the whole world came crashing because family did not accept it. She's from a Marwadi family. A Muslim guy is absolutely no. So now mother and father came into picture, and they simply picked her again from Nani's house, and they said, this is the mistake. We should not have kept you here. That's why this happened. So now even Nani Nanu were little taken aback as to what did they do? What wrong did they do? So that, is it their upbringing? So they kind of disowned her, and parents were angry. They got her here. So, her whole world had again fallen apart. But even then, she took it positively because she could not hurt her parents further. Now, what next can happen? So, whichever first person came in her life, like her parents introduced to, she got married to him. Even if she got married, this yearning for love remained. She wanted his approval. She wanted to do everything for him. And again, the same martyr syndrome came in. She took control of the whole family. She kept on working hard and she depended on him for each and every decision. For everything she would ask him, but she would do. She would not let him do anything in the house. He got pampered. He started, dominating her, and she liked it. She said, "Okay, fine. I mean, at least I'm having security. He is loving me. This is very nice." She had no freedom, but she was okay with it. Slowly, what happened is she started, because she is the one who's doing everything, she started calling all the shots. So, typically in this relationship and in the previous case, the whole scenario is same. They work so much, or the first case, the lady had worked in her initial years in the family, and therefore now she could, call all the shots. Similar way, the second case also, she had worked initial years too much. She had created a dependability, and now she's calling shots. This lady started having problem when she started having mixed feelings about a colleague of hers. Didn't know what to do. She doesn't want to leave the husband, doesn't want to disrupt this family scenario which she has created, and she doesn't want to leave the friendship also, because in the friendship she's getting freedom, she's getting dependability, but she's also knowing that this is going to break into something else. And then what happens? So there's a catch-22 situation. In all of that, what happens is she slips on a banana skin and sprains her ankle, and now her feet is put in a cast. She has to be immobile for a while, and that's when the panic attack starts. That's when she felt restricted. Now she can't go to the office, she can't talk to this friend of hers, and she kind of feels neglected by husband. She feels she's doing too much, but she does not have the capacity to even ask him for more. Then starts the irritability, she starts losing her sleep, she starts getting her panic attacks during the evening, and it continues through night. She clings on to the husband. She says, "You don't go anywhere. I want you to be here." So far, I will stop share so that I can look at the chats. I want to understand what remedies are coming to your mind. Any remedy, anything is fine. Yeah, I won't be able to talk to a blank screen, okay, guys? I would like to see something in the chat. Natrum, very good. Carcinosin, fantastic. You guys do remember that I've told you that these are both irritable people, okay? They get irritated, they shout at people, and they kind of boss around. Stramonium, platina in the first case, okay? Platina, sepia, magnesium, kalicar. Structure-wise, both these ladies are fat, flabby, and both are sweet talkers. When you talk to them first time, you will see that they are very sweet in their communication. Okay, I think we've got good number of cases, a good number of remedies. Natrum, carcinosin, stramonium, platina, sepia, magnesium, kalicar, palladium. Wow, nice. All right, argentum nitricum, rare remedy. Now we're talking. Okay. Natrum. Did anybody think of calcarea, or it's just me? Bambusa. Okay. Nobody's thinking of calcarea? All right, I'll share my screen again. Somebody's thinking of calcarea now because I said so. Yeah, calcarea, but not very dominating. Perfect. So for me, the case was like open and shut case when I started. First, I was thinking of calcarea because I had that kind of an opinion. The first lady was definitely, definitely looking like calcarea, and like she was very dependent. Both these ladies are very, very dependent on their husband, and they want things to go in a certain way. They do not like change. They do not want to go beyond what has been decided. They don't want, they're quite stubborn in their patterns, and they're performers, very good performance, but something is not fitting. Okay, so I said, let me just first understand, why are they getting panic attacks? What is the psychodynamics of panics in very general, for like I want to optimize, and I want to give you more about the remedy. That's why I'll talk only about the crux of psychodynamics. So psychodynamics of panic typically is unresolved conflict of desire for independence, when somebody wants independence, and at the same time they fear abandonment. So you see, somebody who wants to go out, step out and be free, and if they do that, then they fear that I might be abandoned. Somebody might just not want me further. And this unconscious conflict brings out the panic, which is beautifully fitting in both the cases. The first lady wants to do her own way, but she wants the family to, family to stay together, and family should not leave me. The second lady always wanted independence. She wanted her own identity, and she felt somewhere it is missing in Nani Nanu, somewhere it is missing in parents. And now with husband also, she's feeling her identity is being missed. She wants to take that plunge into another relationship, but she fears that the husband might abandon me. And that's where the conflict begins. And that's the root cause of her panic. Now, when we understand this, when we go to the remedy, it looks like calcarea to me in many ways. Like, their cravings, aversions are typically calcarea. Their personality type, their workaholics, they working for existence, for me is calcarea. Wherein, they develop their identity as somebody who's a dependable person who works for you. Yeah. But they don't have fears. They're like a little carefree, fearless kind of. They can break, they can boss people around. So bossy calcarea doesn't fit, because calcarea will not boss people around, right? So it's not an animal, not a mineral, not a plant. So what is it? What comes closer to it? So when I think about that, what do you think comes close to calcarea? Where do you think calcarea comes from? Any options?
Dr. Vrushali, Dr. Wahi has a point of view that her lifespan started from insecurity and to a dominating stage where she was hurt. When this was hurt, they again went back to the feeling of insecurity.
Correct, correct. Absolutely, Dr. Wahi. It is really that's the beauty of this case. That the insecurity which is engraved so deeply inside her. So calcarea comes from oyster shell. Yes, Hina. Yeah, Dr. Minal, Calcarea sulf. No, let's just talk about where does Calcarea comes from, because this is not even Calcarea sulf. Dr. Suman is saying Calcarea carbon natrum mure. All right, all right. Natrum. Oh, that's why you are saying natrum carb? Easy peasy. But no, it's not like that. You know, Calcarea for me comes from the shell of an oyster. Yeah. And oyster is what? A mollusk. Right? So the mollusk, the shell of a mollusk gives me Calcarea. So I must look in that direction. Which is the mollusk which likes to move, which likes to. Mollusk is what? You guys have an idea as to what mollusk is? Can you quickly give me some inputs? Anybody? Could it be Calcarea ars? Well, good thought. We can think about Calcarea ars, but I'll explain it's a fish. Okay. Anybody else? When we have 49 people, at least 49 answers should come. It's a primitive. Yes, Hina. Okay. So I think I will share. So mollusk is an aquatic animal and it comes not into the fish category, but an aquatic animal. They are um, the first animal which started movement. Okay, so there are three types of mollusk. First are the ones which are fixed, closed, they cannot move. Second are the ones which can move little but very slow, who have shells. And the third kind of mollusk do not have shells or have an internal rudimentary shell. Okay, so when I went to see how these both the cases had similar nature, they were having sensitive and soft nature. They were easily affected by people's behavior. They wanted to have a separate identity of themselves. They wanted to stay alone, but they are dependent too. At the same time. There was a fear of intrusion. They wanted their lives to be private, and yet they wanted people to come and, treat them nicely. They wanted movement, and there was an intense need to keep the door open in both the cases. And it was unreasonable. So it was very, very prominent for me. And at the same time, they both had fear that someone will enter at any time. So, this is very, very typical of a mollusk. Mollusk is a soft animal which comes in the shell. Okay. So Calcarea-like mollusk, which I know from my understanding of mollusk in various forms, is scallop. It is very, very close to Calcarea. So from the oysters, which are barely moving, scallops are the ones which are having a little bit of more movement. And the remedy prepared from that is pectin jacobius. So it's a very short video. Let us just see this video because it's going to be self-explanatory.
Dr. Vrushali, YouTube video will not have a access, I think, during the presentation. For that, we will be needing another, I think, software for that.
Oh, just wait, give me a minute.
Or you can send this link actually in the chat box so that we all can view that.
Uh-huh. But in sharing, don't we have option of sharing sound of the screen?
Not like this. Actually, you will have to download that, and after that only you can play. The direct link of YouTube will not play in this.
You can you see the video or no? No,
No.
you can't see the video also?
No, dear.
Wait, let me just see. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes, we can see
Yeah.
the video. Yes.
Yeah.
Scallops
So,
are
can you
bivalves.
hear
Yes,
the
we can hear
sound?
that as well. Yes, yes.
Can you hear it?
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes, yes.
Shells that come together at a hinge that can be open and closed at will. Other bivalves include mussels, oysters, and clams. Sometimes spiny oysters are also called scallops, but this episode will focus specifically on the true scallop family. There are somewhere around 400 living scallop species, and they can be found in marine waters from tropical to polar regions. Scallops may live along coastlines or deeper than 4 miles beneath the ocean's surface. They are most recognized for the wing-like projections, called auricles, found at the hinge of their shells. They're also some of the only bivalves that can swim. Scallops begin their life as an egg. They can be quite productive and produce millions of eggs each year, but some can also produce sperm. These bivalves may undergo multiple sex changes throughout their lifetimes depending on the species. Sperm and eggs are released synchronously into the water column, where they will be fertilized and quickly hatched into larvae. These larvae are free swimming until they settle on the ocean floor or some other surface a few weeks after hatching. Some scallops will remain in a single spot for life, much like the oysters we've discussed previously. However, some species are not stuck to the place that they settle, and can flap their shells to fly about the ocean. They're kind of like underwater butterflies. They do this by expelling water from their shell and creating jet propulsion. Individuals that don't attach to surfaces often spend their time lying along a sandy or muddy sea floor. Scallops have tentacles which determine changes in the chemical composition of the surrounding water, helping them to react to changes in their environment. They also have eyes positioned along the edge of their mantle, or the soft, tentacled part of their body that hangs outside of the shell. These eyes have two retinas and can sense changes in light to alert the scallop to approaching danger. Predators to scallops include sea stars, crabs, sea turtles, lobsters, and various types of fish. They're also eaten by humans who consider them a delicacy in many areas. The large adductor muscle that scallops use for swimming is most often the muscle consumed by people, and likely what many people think of when they think of scallops. In size, scallops can reach up to 9 inches in shell height, though on average, scallops don't grow larger than 6 inches. They are filter feeders that eat microscopic plants, called phytoplankton, and animals, called zooplankton. Depending on the species, they can live at least 5 years, and often don't begin breeding until they reach at least a year old. Some species can live well over a decade. Like giant clams, their shells come in a wide range of shapes and colors. Scallops that settle on surfaces often have asymmetrical shells, though even swimming individuals may have shells with different colors or textures. Other common names for scallops include fan shell and comb shell, which may be in reference to their appearance. For more facts on scallops, check out the links below. Give a thumbs up if you learned something new today.
So, did you guys understand no, why I wanted to show you this video? You know, scallops, there are more than 4 lakh varieties of scallops available, and they are the first mollusk who show movement. So, you know how it is when you are the first one in the family showing some kind of different feature, how usually you are kind of gunda of the family. That's what is scallop. Just give me a minute. I want to read the chat and I can't read it together. The video does match the lifespan of cases which you narrated. Yeah, to differentiate from other common group of shells. Right. So, I wanted to specify on scallop only today because they come very, very close to calcareas. But calcareas are simple people who do not go around dominating. They know their limitations. They know what they require and they will limit themselves in that. But you saw scallops, even though they are primitive and they have limited mobility, they still want to move and they want to do too many things, like, more than what is their capacity. They want to do that. So let's just quickly go through the things which scallop per se does. So it moves by rapid contraction and relaxation. The stronger defense than other bivalves. It has very strong defense than other bivalves as the shell is thicker. Okay, so they can protect themselves better. They are embedded inside the shell and they nestle there only. They do not come out like some other mollusk. There is a restrain, restrict, and impede. That these are the words. They will feel restrained inside their shell, even though they want to stay protected by the shell. They don't want to leave it, but they will feel restrained. They will feel restricted. So the mechanism jump and leap. There is some sound by clapping of those two shells. They can whistle, they can pop, they can clap, and as homeopathically, the whole remedy or the whole animal is used for trituration. Okay. Now, protection from robbers, that is one of the highlight of scallop remedy, because you see, they typically when scallops are shanked. So this is a term wherein they put a curved kind of a knife between the two flaps of the scallop, the bivalve. Okay, two shells of the scallop, they will put it, and there is a way in which they twist it so that the hinge breaks. Okay, and then that scallop is removed. So, there is a trauma which evolutionary this whole animal carries with itself, wherein the remedy is quite easily available actually. I'll let you know about that. And I have quite a few cases which I have started using with scallop, with pectin jacobius. So the shanking of scallops is a trauma which this animal carries evolutionary, because it's a delicacy in many, many cultures wherein they eat scallop. Like Korea, they put this whole scallop under fire and then they will shank it and then they will add their soju, the rice wine, in the shell and they will drink like that. So, there is a need to be protected, and that's why there are so many eyes which they have. Even when they remain underwater, the predators, there are so many eyes. And as you saw it in the video, it's a mystery as to how, these multiple eyes, how they form one image. It's real mystery, and the nature has lot of mysteries in that. So there is a fear of intrusion and fear that somebody will rob me, and that is an inherent fear which this remedy will have, and therefore that need to keep the door open or ajar, that is known. Now, traditionally in the old provings, there is a humid asthma which is seen, and there is nothing much about the mental symptoms of a scallop found in this. Only one or two authors have given mental symptoms, but this is used, I am using it like a polycrest. Okay, so asthma preceded by coryza and burning in throat and chest. These are typical symptoms which the first lady had demonstrated in her asthma. There's a marked constriction in the chest. Attack ends with copious expectoration of tough, frothy mucus, typically worse at night, and it is better spitting out the mucus. Cannot lie flat on or on left side. So she would typically lie down in a convertible sofa or something like that, but not on the bed. Okay. And stubbornness is one of the biggest quality of Pectin Jacobius, wherein they always want to prove himself, and that too not in simple situation but in difficult situation. They will draw themselves and take huge tasks on themselves, and they will do it. They want to do something to show that he can overcome the problem. I am the martyr. I am the one who's taking it. So to face challenges, constantly overcoming challenges, and it seems kind of a compulsive attitude in them. So you have to understand it from evolution, from the animal's journey to the remedy's journey. The animal wants to, travel. They are immobile. They cannot move. Mollusk bivalves per se cannot move, but pectin has figured out a way wherein they can travel along the. They cannot come to the seashore on their own, but the waves might just wash them. But on their own, they can travel along the seashore. So it's a huge effort which this mollusk is trying to put in, and there is that's why the muscle is developing so much inside that that muscle itself becomes a delicacy. Yeah, right. So they typically react in exaggerated way if they overcome little steps in their development. Okay, not really able to do things on their own. They require a lot of support, but they want to do many things. Internally, they feel weak and unable to achieve. Little by little, they try to enlarge their sense of security. So slowly, they will go on creating their own space in the family. These are most evolved shells, so you will find that they have a lot of maturity. The patients will come with a lot of maturity. They will say, I want to do this for, they will have social causes, and you will feel that this is not like natrum. So some people had rightly said about argentum, wherein they think beyond their capacity, but internally the insecurity, the whole search of identity and whole need to prove themselves, that has to be seen. This is just the last step before moving out of the shell. After this, there are sea snails and the garden snails in evolution. Okay, that's why anything which is just about to transition, there is a lot of struggle and lot of effort seen in animal kingdom per se, and there's a lot of qatar. Okay, so
Dr. Vrushali, you have 10 more minutes.
yes, I'll be done in 10 minutes. So pectin as a whole, if you have to see, they will have anxiety because they are performing beyond their limits, and they will always have fear of intrusion. That gives rise to insomnia. They cannot sleep because sleep is somewhere wherein you have to let go of things and just relax, but that they can't do. They're always on their guards, and that gives rise to restlessness. That in turn gives rise to irritability, and that gives to mood swings, and then again the whole vicious cycle continues. So in a nutshell, this is what pectin jacobius would be. In the first case I had given, because that lady had so much hyperness and there were no classical symptoms or not specific symptoms of pectin, so I wanted to build her immunity, and she had come to me in a very acute state of asthma. So I'd given her pectin J first day 30, second day 200, and third day 1 m. She required treatment for 8 months. Her asthma is completely gone now, and we have given her multiple doses of pectin during that time. 1 m was required for her. And in the second case, I had given her pectin J 200 BD for 2 days to start with, and she required a lot of counseling because there were so many deep imprints of and issues with her mother which she was carrying. So a lot of inner child dialogue was also done, but her panic had stopped quite early, like 3 or 4 months in the treatment. Panic had completely stopped, but her counseling and her medication went on for 1.5 years. So finally, the take-home message which I want you to take from today's talk is, when you reach calcarea but something doesn't fit, you can think of clams or scallop. Clam is Venus mercenaria. Scallop is Pecten jacobius. When you reach natrum or silica, but it just doesn't fit, then you think of garden snail or sea snail. So garden snail is Helix tosta, and sea snail is Cypria eglantina. I have multiple cases of that. When you reach sepia, but something doesn't fit, then you can think of squid or octopus. I have cases of squid as well. So that's it, folks. I'm ready to take more questions now. I can see the chat box popping now. How to find?
Thank you, Dr. Vrushali. You can go through the chat box.
Yeah. So a polycrest is required. Yes, polycrests are there, and Pecten jacobius is easily available. It is a polycrest because as and when we go on giving these cases, because I've given it in 5 to 6 cases so far, and all for panic. 3 of them did have asthma, and I have full case records of all the cases. So we can nicely develop a drug picture now. The whole understanding is, when calcarea-like patient, they look also like calcarea, fat and flabby, and they behave like calcarea, but they are fearless ones. They are the ones who want to take the world head on. So little dadagiri type calcarea is Pecten. Okay. Polycrest is, I've already answered that. ये remedy कहाँ से मिलेगा? So you will get this remedy from this one, London wala pharmacy. Anybody knows?
St. George or
St. George.
St. George.
St. George Helios. Helios से
Helios.
एकदम easy से मिल जाएगा. St. George also you can ask them, they can get it. And then there is Dr. Rajesh Baheti in Pune. He sources all the rare remedies. Anything you need, he can get it. How do you find this data? This is there. Boric, you can read. It is there in Clark's dictionary. It's an old remedy, actually. It's not a very new remedy. Pulford has that. There are a lot of good old authors who have written about pectin. So it's a very old remedy. How about the nosodes treating in recurrent panic attacks? I have not required nosodes, Dr. Mohammed, because we have been we have been using only constitutional or the deep acting remedy, and it has been very, very helpful. Author's name. I said Boric has little bit on pectin. Clark has it. Pulford has written about it. So that's about it. Dr. Rajesh Baheti. I will share the number with Amita, and then maybe you can share it with the audience.
Yes, sure. I'll do that.
Yeah. Common.
आप common remedies पे भी webinar करिए, please. Sure, Dr. Meena.
All right, we will do it. We will do it.
We will try to do it.
Yeah, but मजा उसी में आता है कि uncommon जो काफी अच्छा
learning हो जाती है. Learning हो जाती है.
Learning हो जाती है. And there are so many good remedies which we have, but we don't look at it, not because of anything, but just sheer inertia. We don't want to move from common remedies. I feel itna sab kuch hai. We defy the whole purpose of homeopathy if we stick to common remedies. What does homeopathy say is individualization. So then how do we expect same kind of remedies to act on everyone? It should not, right? There has to be more and more remedies.
Dr. Mohammed is asking, how can we handle acute panic attack top on chronic underlying issues?
No, quite easy. You just take their symptoms in that moment, take their mental state and match it with your remedies and prescribe. Very, very easy. In fact, post-COVID panics have become like a common thing. It's like cold cough. for every silly thing, somebody other person is coming down with panic, because people have experienced so much of loss during this time that they're triggered by that. Some or the other, like every family has lost at least one person in the near circle. First circle may somebody must have passed away because of COVID. If not in the family, it is your friend has passed away with COVID, your teacher has passed away, somebody closer to you has passed away, and that has kind of shocked. So you have to stick to basics. It doesn't matter which remedy you are thinking about, or which remedy will come up. You just have to stick to basics, which is you simply take the mental state in that moment, find out the root cause of the illness, and repertorize the case, find references, and give the prescription. That's about it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vrushali, for your presentation. I request Dr. R.N. Vahi, sir, to kindly take over and give your remarks on the same.
Can't speak.
So you can unmute yourself. I have already sent you the request. So kindly unmute.
Now,
Yes. Yes, sir.
well, number one, overall, it has really been a very absorbing session. I must compliment Dr. Vrushali. That shows your geniusness, which of course,
Thank
at
you.
least I have actually experienced, on a number of occasions. I think you will agree with me. There is a definite problem actually and concern, Why? Because, I somehow directly or indirectly I've been associated with the drug regulatory mechanism these days, and we are sending our recommendations to the government. But let me tell you that no doubt you have mentioned about the places where any of these medicines are. There are a lot of contradictions actually, and relating to even the date of expiry. So and so, that's a topic I would like to discuss in this section. That of course, would be discussed in the full day physical event which the IHF is going to hold on 2nd of April. There are various challenges, coming to the profession, and getting the correct medicine is a definitely big challenge. There are no pharmacopoeia standards defined for many medicines. And wherever they are defined, there are other contradictions also. So our pharmacopoeia also needs great revision. That work is of course going on. It will take some years, I would put it. But nevertheless, reading, and getting knowledge in such webinars or discussions is always very, very important, as it does enhance, your knowledge. And I don't have any hesitation to say that all of us, till our last breath, we remain students. Once again, I'd like to compliment, thank you very much, Dr. Vrushali. And we are hoping for many such occasions. At least it is the first occasion when you have got the chance to speak on the IHF forum. Let us hope when we have a bigger meeting, scientific session where it will be purely scientific sessions, not the mixed type of thing, but then you will definitely be among one of the, you will be on our hit list. That's what I can say.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Dr. Vahi, sir. Dr. Bhavna, I request you as well to kindly give your remarks.
You have to unmute, Bhavna. Amita, you are taking longer time to.
Anji, yes. So thank you so much, Dr. Vrushali. And we all know so much about polycrest remedies, but we really need to know about rare remedies also. And this was a good initiative. And we'll make it a point that whenever we come across rare remedies, we must go through them. And panic disorder is, as rightly said, like a epidemic, in youngsters we see, and in all age groups. And if we are able to handle such cases, it will increase the faith of our patients in homeopathy, in us also as clinicians. So thank you so much for a wonderful presentation.
For the panic disorder, actually, we do have acute, medicine to deal with the acute emergency, as somebody pointed out. It's not very late. Quite recently, I had a case and coming definitely in a very, very highly critical and panicky stage. And main thing was the fear of death. It was arsenic, which helped. Then I said, okay, you can take. Then there were other cardiac problems also in that case. So we preferred to put him on Catragus. Now, actually, there are no panic attacks. At times, some anxiety is there. There are no panic attacks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Bhavna, for your inputs. Dr. Vrushali, anything you would like to add?
Common remedies, if we have to talk about, I do have a lot of cases wherein I've given alumina, I've given aconite, I've given natrums, unlimited natrums in panic, and tarantulas are there. In fact, I had shared one of the case in Engage platform also of tarantula, wherein acute panic had set in, and that girl had completely shut down, and she was sitting in her room all the time. So tarantula had helped her, and there are so many through repetization, through so many different methods we can demonstrate. But today, what I wanted to bring forth is there is more to our materia medica than what we commonly know. So we must look beyond, we must expand our horizon and help to the most. So many times we find that there is some symptom similarity, and for lack of our um, uh, I would not say knowledge, but our efforts, we say ho gaya, itna mil gaya hai, we will just go with that, and the patient suffers because of that. So we must look at what we know. Beyond that, we must look and find rare remedies. That's the only point which I wanted to make today. And sharing two cases of the same remedy around the same time, that's what makes it more concrete, I feel. Thank you so much. And I would love to be there again whenever Dr. Vai sir, you call me, I will be there for IHF.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vrushali. And it was really a very nice session. आपने काफी अच्छी presentation, slide cases वगैरह बनाए. And we hope that we will be having more sessions with you in future. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. So there's an announcement for everyone that IHF has been organizing so many webinars, and that too we are conducting all webinars free of cost. Now we are coming in a physical meet on 2nd of April on occasion of our Dr. Samuel Hahnemann's 268th birth anniversary. So you can go through the details. We have been circulating all the details in the JPEG form and PDF form as well. We have been sending you through emails. So if anybody needs any help in that, in making the registration and finding difficulty in making the registration, you can get in touch with Dr. Gurbir, or you can get in touch with anyone from the IHF team, and they will help you, support you. There is a scan code in this presentation, which I am showing you. And this is very easy to make the payments. You can pay by any means you want. Google Pay, Paytm, NEFT, UPI, even you can pay by cards. But yes, you have to make sure that you have to add the transaction charges to the card payments if you are paying by credit cards. So I would request, please avoid the another 2% or 4% of charges, and you can use the digital mode of payments. So the registration charges for doctors are very nominal. It is 1,000 rupees. For life members, it is rupees 850. And life members can be any life members of any organization. So we welcome you all. It is not restricted only to IHF. So any organization, if you are a life member, you can pay rupees 850 and you can register yourself. For students, we have kept very nominal charges of rupees 600, and on the spot registration will be rupees 1500. If you want any group registrations, you can give us a request, and what we can do for you, we will do that certainly. So please go through all these details we have been circulating, and if you have not received this, you can get in touch with Dr. Gurveer. Her number is mentioned on the screen. It is 5 times 9 24503. I'm again repeating that it is 5 times 9 24503. So kindly get in touch with Dr. Gurveer. You will be receiving e-certificates of participation as well within 7 days of your event, and it will be sent to you on your registered email IDs. We have also attached Google Forms on the WhatsApp group and on the Facebook group. So you will have to fill the Google form after making the payment. So then only we can have your registration name that will be displayed on your e-certificate. So in case you want any more information, please message Dr. Gurveer for that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Vrushali. Thank you all doctors, students, team IHF for making this webinar again a successful webinar. And our next physical meet will be on 2nd of April at Baxen's Homeopathic Medical College, sharp at 9:30 a.m. So after so many webinars, this will be our first physical meet after 2 years. So I request everyone, encourage your friends, encourage all students to join us. So now I request Dr. Vahisa to give us the permission to end this meeting, and after this meeting I request only the IHF core team members to remain in the group, and the rest can leave, please.
Well, now the session is over, I think, and we have detained Dr. Vrushali for more than almost nearly 15 minutes more. So I think it is certainly time to wind up this session, and so permission is granted.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Friends, you will have to leave the meeting because after this we have meeting of core team of IHF. Thank you, Dr. Vrushali.
Bye-bye. Have a great day and wish you all the best for the conference.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Ji.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night, Ji.